I'll lay down like some chord structure shit over that, and then you can come in and like keep playing bass over it.
Before I get started into what I'm about to do, I'll tell you a little bit about what happened this past week. So before I do actually talk, forgive how I'm about to appear because I just got back from the gym and what I'm about to do is gonna make me hot and sweaty again. So I didn't bother to shower or do anything like that. This last week was getting ready for my upcoming deployment. It was a lot more just running errands, more medical appointments, more dental appointments, and a lot of online training. For those not up to speed, the Army is infamous for having thousands of online training classes, usually having to deal with some form of safety or precautionary preventative measure to help things run a little smooth. It's mostly just long-winded narrators over stock footage video on how to be safe. But here's a quick little pro tip. Typically, there is a pretest, and if you get all the questions right on the pretest, you don't have to do the actual course. So it would behoove you to learn how to get those answers right. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, I had to do about 30 of these classes, and they literally ranged from how to build a fire in case the aircraft I'm in gets shot down over the woods to how to pick a hotel room and not get scammed over email. And then of course, like I said, all the medical stuff. One test was literally to tell if I had AIDS or not. Still waiting to hear back on the results on that one. And then finally, I had to do what's called RFI. Think of it as like a second batch of gear that you get usually right before you deploy, on top of all the stuff that you got at CIF when you first got there. But if you saw my last video, you saw that the room I'm standing in currently was completely trashed, and that was before I even got the initial draw from CIF. Not only is this room trashed, but now my living room is trashed with all the gear that I got over the last week that I now need to organize in this room so that my life is not a running mess while I try to get everything else ready. So naturally, I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of show off some of the gear that I got. I'm obviously going to do things a little differently than what you normally see on people showing off their military equipment and whatnot. And I probably won't get into like the sticks of like, well, this is good in this kind of situation. I'm just going to do a brief overview. And also like 10 of these things are like windbreakers, so you can't really give a lot of information on a windbreaker. So let's start with the room as it is. I'm going to clean that, and then I'll move to get all the stuff in the other room, bring it here. That way I'm not trying to organize two things at once, and it'll be easier if this place is clean. So as it stands, the current plan for this room was also to be the guest bedroom. So we have the mattress there, and here's the box spring, but I'm just gonna leave them propped against the walls so I have more surface area to work with. Most of this stuff is just miscellaneous nonsense that is mine and I don't use a lot and I want to keep out of the way. So that's what's going to be organized first. Yoga mat, trash bag full of old West Point uniforms. So a lot of people, when they graduated, they threw all of their uniforms out or they sold them back to the academy, which I understand, but I'm weirdly sentimental about a lot of stuff, even if there's some dark memories attached. So like, for example, this is a long O, which you see during like the Army Navy games, and I just could not come to my senses to get rid of it. So long sleeve as for class shirt, very starched white dress pants. I still have exactly one set of the old UCP pattern ACUs, but my intention of that was to wear it on the last day before they phased them out, but I couldn't find ranks in time that had this camo pattern, so I never got to do it, unfortunately. Gray Girl blanket, which not only still has duct tape from when I made my bed, but it still has the dry cleaning tags of the last time I had it cleaned, which was probably way too long ago. Green Girl, which is basically like your comfy blanket while you're there. And also if you get rid of it, you deserve to go to prison. Short sleeve as for class shirt. And the raincoat, which no one likes wearing no matter how hard it's raining. I still have all my other old uniforms in storage somewhere, but eventually I want to kind of piece them all together and make a cool little display out of them, but that's not for a while. For now, they just collect dust in my closets. Blu-ray disc that I won in a contest. Journal that my buddy Louie got me for his bachelor party. Has my initials on it, and also, you see, has this little design on it, which is the same design as my first tattoo that he actually went with me to get. Leave in the comments if you want me to make a video on tattoos. A black pouch with a decommissioned 1911 that was used by Marine Raiders in a school. Note, decommissioned does not mean not working. This is an actual functioning firearm that's really, really cool, and I feel really lucky to own this. Also of note, before I get a bunch of comments about this will not just be put in my closet, this will be put in my gun safe, which is located somewhere for me to know and for no one on the internet to find out. This is an old West Point dry cleaning bag and an old pattern tap system. So funny story, I was missing the straps that go to this. My stuff got stolen, long story. When I had to turn it into Fort Benning, I had to go buy another one of these, but just for the straps. They didn't come separately. So now I have this thing, which I will probably never use unless, I don't know, I want to like LARP inside my house where I'm doing weird stuff in my underwear. We'll see. 550 cord. Officer sword. That's actually, I have 2 of these. I used to have 4, but they're gifts from my friends, and the post office at Benning is hilariously bad, so I still have 2 I need to send out from like 2 years ago. Matt, Nathan, if you're watching, this is one of yours. My old ruck from West Point that has like weird random pouches in it that I don't intend on using. They let me keep this for some reason, but apparently I also have to turn it in when I'm getting out of the army, so we'll see if this thing actually makes it that long. This bag right here, it's full of a lot of like miscellaneous stuff. Like, this is a cold weather top. This is a bladder for a Camelback. I won't be like fully going into everything that's in this bag. It's mostly just like miscellaneous stuff that no one really cares about. It's really just a bunch of stuff that, if anything, I'll probably keep in here. Although all my mags are in here, so that might be the only thing interesting in this bag. Another bag full of miscellaneous stuff that I don't even think half that's mine. These super beat up core frames that I don't really wear anymore that I used to wear up until like maybe a year ago. I actually got these when I was a teenager in high school, and I got them from my JROTC program. Like I said, a year ago, they were fine, but they just recently got really beat up. So might finally be time to retire my 10-year-old pair of core frames. And that's kind of everything that's, if anything, remotely interesting in this room, but I'm gonna clean it up now, and then when I come back, it'll be time to address all the stuff that's in the other room. Okay, update. The floor is mostly clean. That's a pile of stuff that I'm gonna organize when I bring the other stuff in, because I know that stuff I'm gonna need to take on my deployment. Everything's pretty much organized how I want it in the closet. It may look reckless, but trust me, there is a method to the madness. And now, unfortunately, for part 2, where I have to bring everything else in here. I'm not gonna throw my plates in here. Okay, let's get to work. I'm not gonna organize this the same way I organized the closet. This is stuff that I know I'm going to take with me to deployment, so I don't feel the need to put it away in storage. I'm just gonna lay it out nicely where it's easy to access, I can see everything, and it's not making a complete mess of this room. This is actually my new ruck. I'm not gonna take it out because then it would just take up more space, but just know that this is a ruck. And this is like an assault pack and like a new taps and like kit to put on my gear. So I'm also not gonna take it out. I wanna keep it as organized and as condensed as possible for the longest amount of time. Helmet pads, sleeping mat, which this is the new kind you actually inflate. I've only ever used the foam kind that gets absolutely trashed after one time of using it. So I'm actually pretty excited that I got this. Gator neck, elbow pads and knee pads, but I will not be using these because I have my own pair. Also, I never use elbow pads, and B, the ones I have are nicer. My body armor, which I'm not gonna put on because I don't feel like taking it apart right now. These are shoulder pads that go on the body armor, but I think if anyone these days actually use these, they would be involuntarily admitted to a mental hospital. A lot of this stuff is just like vehicle wear for being in and around the Brads. Probably won't show that off because it's just overalls and it's in this horrible UCP pattern. Sleeping bags, sleeping bag, and sleeping bag. And of course, the sleeping bag. Most of the clothing I'm just gonna skip over because you guys know what uniforms look like. Overshoes, which it's made for like an NBC environment. They're comically large, and I've never worn them before. Hopefully, they never leave this package. Tarp, this is my new IFAK, which stands for Individual First Aid Kit. No idea what the US stands for, but I've never actually seen ones like this. I guess this is the new cool people one. Warm undershirts, Nomex gloves so that I can look like the person on the cover of the first Ghost Recon game. I also won't bore you too much with all the warm layers and stuff. Obviously going to Europe in wintertime, it's gonna be a lot colder than it is here in Texas, and I literally have 6 different layers that you can all wear at once. So I definitely plan on, when it starts snowing, to be looking like the Michelin Man. Finally got combat shirts, which look great if you work out, but if you have even like a little bit of pudge on you, not good, don't look good. That's actually why a lot of commanders don't allow troops to wear them. Oh, and last but not least, of course, body armor plates, which hopefully don't have to be used in real life, at least anytime soon. So you saw me mention that I didn't throw these in there, and not only because I didn't want to break my floor, but because if you drop these, it makes them less effective. Case in point, while we were getting issued these, someone dropped them in line, and we had already been to the end. She had to go all the way back to the beginning so she could get new ones, because the ones that she dropped on the concrete floor were considered compromised. That also counts when they're in your vest, so pro tip to you guys, don't be dropping your vest or your plates. If your vest has plates in it, don't drop it. Eventually I will hang up this flag, but after cleaning for 2 hours, my motivation is goose egg.